It's your boy, U-Goboy. That's Mongo, all right? This is the U-Goboy podcast channel. But before we start, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got unfiltered, authentic conversations. We got sports talk. We got drops. Oh, yeah. So, Mongo, what should they do?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
This is not about football. This isn't about football. Like, Micah requesting a trade is not about football. The Jones family and the front office and the clown show and the foolishness, it's not about football. This is about the brand. This is about the star. This is about Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. This is the circus. The Cowboys have a Netflix documentary that drops August 19th on Netflix. It's all about Jerry Jones. They've been filming it for the last 2 or 3 years. And the second I found out, Mongo, that documentary was dropping on the 19th of August, I knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, there's no way Micah's deal is going to get done before the 19th. It's not, because the number one focus on Jerry's mind is not contracts. It's not the players. It's not football. It's making sure the Dallas Cowboys are the number one trending topic in the world at all times.
You go, boy.
Yo, yo, yo. And not adjust your TV sets. You see this face, you see that face. We're virtual, but we're here. Sports talk. A lot to talk about. You Go Boy Podcast. Sports talk. Let's get it, baby. Yahtzee.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P, Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
Mongo. Woo-wee. We got a lot to talk about on tonight's episode, bro. 68, 69, who cares? I lost count again. 68, I believe. On the You Go Boy podcast.
You go, boy.
Man, first and foremost, how you doing, dog? How you doing?
Doing good. I mean, I agree with you. I had to come running from one remote location to another here to hop on for this one because it's been a week, but doing good otherwise.
Yes. And of course, you know the vibes. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Both channels, UGOBOY88 and UGOBOYMEDIA. We're gonna kick things off with drama in Dallas. Shocker. MICAH Parsons has formally requested a trade. He sent his formal request to Stephen Jones. We'll see if his secretary actually read it or if he even has an office, for goodness sake. Drama in Dallas. It's CM Punk time. I'm wearing the hoodie. He better beat Gunther at SummerSlam. But before I give my take, I'll be coming in hot. Mongo, what the hell's going on in Dallas?
What's going on in Dallas is that it's Dallas, right? We have seen this nonsense so many times, and if this isn't the eye opener that it is time to just admit we are in a different generation in Dallas than we are in every other, in the other 31 cities. It's time. It's the same old story. Just the dots are there. We connected the same way, and this guy's been compared to the greats. I mean, this guy has stats that only Reggie White has done this early in his career. If not him, then who? Who is going to get Dallas to say we have to finally kowtow to somebody? It's absurd that we're still here. And I guess this is just who we are until the Joneses one day move on, which, I mean, the Steinbrenners are still here, right? I mean, a lot of the families are still intact. This might just be the Dallas life you live forever. You go, I'm sorry, man.
You sent a wellness check to me when the request was made. I was on tour with the Wizards, summer tour. Shout out the Wizards. Love you guys. I just want our fans out there and our loyal subscribers, we love you guys, to realize that this is not about football. This isn't about football. Like, Micah requesting a trade is not about football. The Jones family and the front office and the clown show and the foolishness, it's not about football. This is about the brand. This is about the star. This is about Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. This is the circus. The Cowboys have a Netflix documentary that drops August 19th on Netflix. It's all about Jerry Jones. They've been filming it for the last 2 or 3 years. And the second I found out, Mongo, that documentary was dropping on the 19th of August, I knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, there's no way Micah's deal is going to get done before the 19th. It's not. It's not, because the number one focus on Jerry's mind is not contracts. It's not the players. It's not football. It's making sure the Dallas Cowboys are the number one trending topic in the world at all times. That's what it is. That's what it is. So, and what's funny is they roll out the same script. Jake Ferguson out of nowhere, he gets a contract out of nowhere. Just like when CD or Zeke needed a contract, magically out of nowhere, Terrence Steele gets a deal and Jalen Smith gets a deal. And all of a sudden, all these guys start getting contracts, even Trey Diggs. All these guys get deals out of nowhere when you know that Dak Prescott needs a deal. CeeDee Lamb needs a deal. And in this case, Micah Parsons needs a deal. There's 3 top pass rushers in the sport of professional football, American football. It's TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, in whatever order you want to put them in. In whatever order you want to put them in. It's those 3 guys and everybody else. What one thing is not like the other? And who got deals in the offseason? TJ Watt? Myles Garrett? Where's Micah's deal? Even George Karlaftis got a deal. Max Crosby got a deal. Everybody's getting deals. It's like Oprah. You get a deal. You get a deal. You get a deal. But Micah doesn't get his because the only ownership that's in the realm of clowndom is the Cincinnati Bengals. Because Hawkinson, he still doesn't have a deal over in Hendrickson, he still doesn't have a deal with the Bengals. But in terms of pure pass rusher, the best pure pass rusher is Micah Parsons. He leads the league in pressures every single year. He wins in pass rush win rate. That means him versus the fat guy in front of him, the tackle or guard, he beats them more than anybody. It's him. So why doesn't he have a deal? Because it's not about football. It's about, is this going to be the number one trending topic on ESPN and Fox and national radio? Is Stephen A. Smith and Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd and Shannon Sharp, wherever he's doing work now because it's not at ESPN, who is going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys in the A block across the ticker the most? That's what this is about. This is not about football. And mark my words, tell me when I'm telling lies. Shout Punk, you better be Gunther. This deal gets done after the documentary drops on the 19th. I'll put my Harlem Wizard salary up. I'll put my Posh DJ salary up. I'll put my All Things Covered salary up. I'll put everybody that's paying me checks these days. I'll put it all on Front Street, center of the poker table, push all my chips in that deal does not get done until that documentary drops. Because all this is doing is, wow, Cowboys they're trending. Better make sure I watch that documentary. That's what it's about. That's what it is. This is not about football. Tell me when I'm telling lies. This guy.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Listen, I think you're 100% correct. And listen, before they might come after you in the comments here, because we know you're a Cowboys fan. I'm not. And I hope there are fans of the other 30 teams out there who recognize how stupid this is. You don't have to be a Cowboy fan to be angry about this. If you are a human who has ever not been paid fairly, if you are a human who has ever been jerked around by a boss, you should recognize how stupid this is. But here's why I hate this, and here's why I think Jerry Jones is wrong, even beyond that I owned a few brain cells. It's August. Literally, I mean, the Hall of Fame game was a couple days ago, and literally True TV goes up against it with Angels in the Outfield and Over the Top, one of the greatest arm wrestling movies of all time. Like, even True TV was kind enough to be like, Fatang, it's not football season, right? It is baseball season, it is wacky sports season, and it's wrestling season. SummerSlam, check it out tonight. And that's about it, right? Why would you want to own the headlines right during the MLB trade deadline? Because guess when the Cowboys never own the deadline, or never own the headlines? The 48 to 72 hours after free agency starts, when they should be stealing the show, because all we ever see now is Cowboys grade incomplete, I'll let you know when they sign a backup defensive tackle. And why? Because who would want to go to this? Why would anyone want to be a part of this? This is a classic cut off your nose to spite your face moment here. And it's getting old. And the players are seeing that now. Draftees are seeing that. I mean, we see more and more agents saying, hey, just don't take me. I don't want to go there. Not to Dallas, and not even in football, but across all sports. It's going to start happening with the Cowboys more and more. This is bad for the franchise. Congratulations. You're going to get your, whatever it is, let's say August 2nd, you're going to get your 17 days in August. Enjoy when we don't care about you from November 1st until week 3 of free agency.
And what's even more comedic about this is Comedy Central presents. Comedy Central presents Louis C.K., Godfrey, Chris D'Elia. Insert. This is Comedy Central presents. The Cowboys are already the number one trending topic in sports already. You don't even have to do this. This is pointless. You're already what do we talk about in the last 2 or 3 episodes? Already every day on ESPN and Fox in the A block. That's the premier block of topics or whatever. It's, will Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl? Will Dak Prescott get over the hump? There are 31 other teams. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. I don't know if anybody, newsflash. I hope people have been following along with professional sports and the pro tackle football stuff. But the Eagles won the Super Bowl. The Cowboys have been talked about. By the way, they missed the playoffs at 7-10. They've been talked about more in this offseason, as usual, as the Super Bowl champion. During the entire Chiefs, we're in the Mahomes era. Every year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in the offseason, even in the weeks after the Super Bowl, Dallas was discussed more than the Chiefs who won the Super Bowl. So this nonsense, this just complete utter rubbish that the front office is doing, dragging their feet, so only just to sign Micah the day before the kickoff against the Eagles or a week before the kickoff against the Eagles. And they did this with Dak. And here's even the more comedic part about this. Micah and his agent are playing this perfectly. And tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And his agent, Todd France, they finesse, you know what? In the next deal, since you wanted to be idiots and drag your feet and not pay me my market value, which everybody on God's green earth knew you were going to do, we want a no trade clause and we want a no tag clause. So you can't tag us next time. You have to pay us on time next time because you should have paid us on time the first time. And Micah and Dave Mulugeta, if they got half a brain cells in there, he's the number one agent in pro football right now. No trade clause, no tag clause. He's the best pure pass rusher in football. Pay him his money. That's what John Malkovich said in whatever movie it was. It just needs to happen. I can see if he was like a, fringe top 10 player, fringe top 5 player, wherever you want to put Dak is cool, wherever you want to, CD is a top 3 wide receiver, he had to wait for his money. So you knew Micah, a top 3 pass rusher, you knew he was going to have to wait his money. And I knew this was going to happen, Mongo. I knew this when we had off the top sports radio, when we had them on. What was Barron and the guys talking about? They're just like, you know what? I want Jerry and them to do this Micah deal. They got to get ahead of this. They got to get this early. The whole time I'm sitting at the desk at Bravery Studio, just like, it's not going to happen. It's not. Jerry can't help himself. Signing him early? Where's the fun in that? Where's the spectacle in that? It's sickening. And it's like you said, it's old and it's played out, bro. It's played out.
And just to kind of go around the sports world here real quick, just to kind of, for those who are going, another Cowboy show. No, this is universal here. And listen, first of all, shout out to the Lakers, who are the Cowboys of the NBA, and going, ooh, hold my beer. We can go face to their heel here, right? And quickly lock up Luka and say, this is what you should be doing, right? Big day for the Lakers. Also, this is why people who thought the WNBA All-Star shirts, the pay us what you owe us shirts, people came out and were like, it's a business that's lost money for 25 years. What do you mean pay? Because it wasn't about getting a paycheck. We're both in agreement. Parsons is getting paid. That's not what this is about. This is about how you treat people, how you run a business, how you run a franchise. And that's what the WNBA is also saying, right? They know they're going to get paid. Somebody will inevitably pay them, right? But that's not what it is necessarily about here. And again, in this case, it's even worse because you could just you can turn to your left and go, oh, look, the Texans are doing it right. You can turn to your right and go, oh, the Cardinals are doing it right. I'll throw the Jets as a 30th ranked, but you're right. It's Cincinnati, it's Jets, Cincy, the guy who ran Enron, and then Dallas. I mean, it's
Savage.
It's broken. It's just absolutely broken. It's insane.
Yeah, and like the video. We're both coming in hot. I mean, again, Phil, you better win tonight. I really feel for Brian Schottenheimer. We both dragged him across the coals. The jury's out on him. I love the coaching staff he's assembled. I'm watching some of training camp. I'm paying attention to the football aspect while Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. I'm following the beat writers, DLLS Sports, and the actual people, Clarence Hill, the guys that are actually follow the team and of course the content creators, Voch Lombardi, Foots the King, Law Nation, who I did a co-pod with a couple weeks back, Skywalker Steele, Aisha Morrison. I'm following the guys and gals that actually follow the team and are talking about football. I'm following that. And meanwhile, you got Brian Schottenheimer, who's been waiting his whole life, like Phil Collins, waiting his whole life for this moment to finally be a head coach. Me and both of you, we both have mid expectations about how he's actually going to do, but give the guy a chance. You know what I mean? He's trying to install a new offense. He's trying to install a new coaching staff or whatnot. You got George Pickens. We both, it's funny. As soon as we both gave praise to the front office for actually doing the competent thing, we need a number 2 receiver. We're not going to draft one and reach. We're going to make solid picks. Awesome. Let's go trade for one. And you go trade for a Pro Bowl one at that. Great. But right on brand. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're going to drag our feet with the most important, the best overall player on the team. We're going to drag our feet with him. We're just going to do it because that is what is going to make people watch this documentary and tune in and talk about the Cowboys. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. You just can't. So we're gonna keep this going, man. We wasted enough brain cells on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and their foolishness. That is the front office. The Yankees. We're going to talk about the Yankees. Yes, they've dropped 2 games as we record this. This will be out on Monday, so in a couple of days, this pod will be out. But dropped another game to the Marlins. But before the trade deadline, I wasted a free ticket at the stadium for a rainout and a win. It still counts as a win. I keep my wins and losses in football and baseball games I go to. So the Yankees actually won while I was there. But they make a bevy of trades. Brian Cashman, I said it. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I said he was out for blood. And a bunch of people on TikTok and a bunch of clowns on YouTube Shorts and a bunch of clowns on Instagram tried to say that, he ain't going to do nothing. And both of us behind the scenes texted that we expected Billy Bean bullshit, as usual, with him getting a bunch of Moneyball players. But he did a pivot. He really was out for blood. The Yankees completely Jenny Jones makeover their bullpen. Because, and those moves showed us they did not get a starter. They did not get a starter at pitching to add to the rotation. Those moves showed us that come postseason time, if the Yankees make it there with the way they're playing up and down, who knows? They might be in a winner-take-all wild card matchup on the last day of baseball. Who knows? But your game 1 starter is going to be Max Fried. Your game 2 starter is going to be Carlos Rodon with the accent mark over the O. And your game 3 starter is going to be Luis Gil. All right? That's just what it is. It's not going to be Marcus Stroman. He probably won't even be on the postseason roster. It won't be Will Warren. He might not even be on the postseason roster either, or he might be there as a break glass in case of emergency, one of the guys go down. But those 3 are your starters. That's your 3-headed monster. And the goal is give us 5 innings and let the Justice League, DC, see what I did there? Let the Justice League in the back end, in the bullpen, let them go to work and try to get these postseason games and get this pennant. Break down the moves, Mike Mongo, please. Who do you really like? Who do you love? Because this was a masterclass, in my opinion, by Brian Cashman. He definitely gets his flowers.
Yeah, listen, we'll go body by body here in a minute. Real quick before we get too trashed in the comments here. I believe I saw somewhere right before we started this, Stroman is being released, I believe. He's being DFA'd.
DFA.
He may very well not be on the team by the time this airs. So if you are watching this and going, Stroman's not on the playoff roster, he's not on the real roster. We just really ill-timed time for us to film.
In real time?
If we filmed this an hour later or an hour earlier, that would have been a more sensible comment, but just ill-timed. Sure. Hey, the other thing, I have a real problem with anyone listening or any media outlet who has done a winners and losers and does not have the Yankees as a winner. They, to me, are either a winner, if not the winner, because the only knock, you said it, the only knock that you can give them is the starting pitching. But if you go to the store and there's no bread, you can't be yelled at for not buying bread, right? Who are you mad they missed out on? Eric Fetty? Matt Manning? The Rays weren't even going to trade us Zach Littell, but is that – oh, no, we missed out on Zach Littell. Is that Bailey Falter? Is the ghost of Dustin May? Who did you want? What is not going to give us the same 5 mediocre innings Will Warren was going to give us? There was nothing out there. The Diamondbacks decided they're going to hold on to Zach Gallen to get the draft pick they'll get when they offer him, the qualifying offer. And honestly, Merrill Kelly, that was my boy. Yeah. One guy – that I could arguably be upset about. The one pitcher, because even Mike Soroka, the Cubs are getting trashed for that one. And that's like the biggest playoff factor pitcher this draft or this trade deadline. So Merrill Kelly's the one guy I could be upset about, but they went out and got a ready now, prospect and looking at what they got there, he wasn't worth the price for who we would have had to give up, given that, we didn't have the same, it seems, what they were looking for. But other than that, you can't fault them. So breaking down what we have here, I got to start with Ryan McMahon. I think that is genius. The defense to me is even more important. The fact that he's left-handed is critical. Eugenio Suarez, he goes to Seattle, and good on them for making a move, but dude batted .224, when he was in Seattle last time in a stadium that was not terribly conducive to righties, which – welcome to New York, buddy. That would not have gone well, while also committing 7 errors a game behind Cam Schlittler. So listen, I think they got the right guy. And again, we won't go, prospect by prospect here. We just don't have enough time. But the theme of all of these trades was they gave up borderline nobody. McMahon came over for a guy who he was described as, my favorite description of him, I don't know if you saw this one. He's Dustin Pedroia, who he swings like Dustin Pedroia, but doesn't know how to use the bat. That might be my favorite description of any player I've ever heard ever.
Savage.
And
Savage.
Listen, he might come back to bite us, but here's the thing. Rock Riggio, the way the amount of power he has to left would only play in 2 stadiums. Yankee Stadium or Coors Field. So if he ends up being the Dan Uggla of the Rockies in 2031, I'll sleep fine at night. Or Riggio might have gone over in the Jake Bird trade. We got 2 from the Rockies, but either way, it was guys like that. There was like the guy we sent for David Bednar, right? We sent over 2 catchers. One they described as he can hit, but he can't catch, and he's probably going to end up being a power bat off the bench. And one guy was described as sort of a scrappy catcher who's good but not great at everything. So again, if you're telling me we traded Jimmy Leyritz and Benji Molina for a closer we have control over next year, how is this not a win? How are these not wins? We gave up guys who, even Austin Slater, who's basically just the Aaron Judge Band-Aid. We gave up a guy who's being described as having the ceiling of a number 5 starter. What? So we traded J.P. Sears. Cool. I don't get why this is not a universal win. Listen, Rosario, I think it was on
like that one
on New Roads. I don't think it was here, but I was saying Luis Urias, but basically the same dude, right? Spider-Man memeing up.
Same play.
But we needed that extra infielder. Got it. We needed defense and a lefty bat. Got it. We needed somebody to be able to fill in for Judge. Got it. We needed bullpen depth. Got it. What could you possibly not like about this?
Like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it too. Again, we live in the era of just everybody has one of those mic things, those microphone things that you talk into, and everyone's a content creator, and everybody's got an opinion, and so forth and so on. We have been on air for over 3 years now, giving nothing but facts and unfiltered, authentic conversations for a reason, because we're giving facts. We're giving the numbers. We're doing a deep dive. And 99.7% of the time when we do were we right? Were we wrong? We're usually right about these things. And again, people want they want Cashman to trade for, I don't know, Crochet from the Red Sox, or Valdez from the Astros, or just insert, or Glasnow from the Dodgers, or Ohtani. Somehow they want Cashman to get Ohtani. You know what I mean? Just insert MLB The Show fantasy mode in the GM mode for Cashman. That's what that was, and even with that, people would still complain. Like, man, Ohtani, you sure you should be pitching? They find a way to complain about the move. All right, but here in the real world, yes, there's no salary cap in baseball, but like you said, the trade deadline presents what's available, what's realistic. That's the point. That word is so lost and overshadowed, really, in all sports, but particularly in baseball and football, the most popular sports in America. Basketball's getting there. It is, but the NBA All-Star game always screws that up. You know what I mean?
That one might be rooted in reality. They're not the correct example for when you're talking about setting standards of being on Earth.
I think Roller Jam is higher than basketball if you want to take it back there. But no, again, there's nothing Cashman can do that's not going to quell the masses. But again, you have to be realistic. The Yankees definitely needed a bat, and they got that with McMahon. They needed an upgrade, like you mentioned, in the left side of the infield. Dear God in heaven. Volpe, I texted you the other day. Volpe wants to get sent down. He wants to get DFA'd. It's never going to happen. He would have to punch Boone in the face. And even if that were to happen, I think they probably sign him to an extension. I mean, like, the front office loves Volpe. I mean, we passed on insert frontline shortstop or front line starter. We passed on how many guys to hold on to Volpe. You know what I mean? And again, you needed an upgrade at third base. Old man LeMahieu, he's playing in the basketball league right now. He wasn't the answer at third base. Oswaldo Peraza, he wasn't the answer. Even when Oswaldo Cabrera, before he got hurt, he was just too consistent. He's not the answer. McMahon was the best thing available. And again, defensive third baseman who occasionally can get hot with a bat. That's all we wanted. And that's what he got. And again, in terms of the starter aspect, what would you rather have? A solid rotation and a shaky bullpen, or a good enough rotation and a Justice League in the bullpen? What would you rather have? I'll take the super bullpen, because this is the analytic age anyway. Like, starters, I don't want to say starters don't matter. I still want a King Cole with everything on the line in a game 6 or a game 7 of the World Series, and God willing, both of us will see that one day. You know what I mean? But again, sign me up for the mega bullpen. Sign me up for that. And right now, Boone, please don't boon it up. Yeah, that's an adjective. You got opportunities to have spot starter, to have bullpen games. You can shorten games now. All you can ask for is, like, listen, give me 5 innings. Give me 4 innings. Give me 4 and some change. And then we'll piece it together to get to Devin Williams or to get to Weaver. And you mean to tell me that the Yankees don't have that now? How could you say that? You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's a lot there. Just to add on that, and I do want to go back to Volpe real quick, but Schlittler, people are batting .219 against Schlittler's fastball, which is great. That's a great number, but it means the second, third time through the lineup, he becomes a little predictable. And they even said they might have him mess around with some pitches, which could lead to a couple short outings. But again, that's okay, because even besides the super bullpen, you got Yarbrough coming back sometime in August. You got Brubaker. You got guys there who can get you from the 3rd to the 6th if you need to. And so, it's going to be Warren and Schlittler here as the 4 and the 5 for the rest of the year. But that's okay. Especially because, eventually he'll once he's fully healthy. But the other two guys, Rodon and Fried can give you 7-8 innings. It's not like you're going to use this entire bullpen every game, they'll be able to kind of only use one or two guys on those, on the front three. And then if they have to use 5 or 6, and remember, you have guys like De Los Santos who got, sent down just in these numbers. You got Ian Hamilton sent down just because of how many numbers there are. You can rotate these guys out, and always have fresh arms. So I'm with you completely. But on that same note, Volpe, you get Rosario, which means in theory you can now have a guy pinch hit for Volpe on his last at bat of the game. And then you have Caballero, who can run for anybody, one of the slowest teams on earth. And then Caballero can come in and play defense. So, I mean, you've really cut Volpe, down to 70% of what's been expected of him. Even if he starts every game, you now have a number of ways you can get him out of the game. So, you don't necessarily need to send him down here, and you're still serving what we wanted all along, which was not have – there's 60 games left. If you told me right now Volpe was going to play 540 innings, I would have told you, well, I can't say it on this station, but it would have been a lot of 4-letter words. But if he's now only going to do, more like 400 innings, yeah, okay, I'm with that. But you're talking about stats, and you're talking about people who just throw things out. I think it was I think it was Brandon Tierney. I don't know. I go, one of them's cue ball shaped, one of them's egg shaped. They're all bald guys in the New York media. It was one of them. I get them mixed up. But regardless, he was basically saying, his heart's just not in this. The hope's just not in this, because there's just, the Yankees can't go out there and get elite guys at the deadline, which I'm with. I don't think they did, but that doesn't mean the elite stats aren't there. Caballero leading the league in, tied 1 in stolen bases. David Bednar, 3rd in fielding independent pitching and top 15 in batting average against on balls in play. So he hasn't even been lucky. I mean, there are elite stats within these guys that let you know Cashman knew what he was doing, and his team of millions of analytic goons behind him knew exactly who to get. This team now has a unique set of skills that are there 5 tool players out there who could do it all on their own? Yes. But again, were they available? No. So they makeshifted the guys who collectively make that up, like Billy Bean would. We'll go back to where we started. In the meantime, by the way, real quick, just you mentioned a name there. Peraza somehow sent out in all this mess for international pool play, and a guy who I think deserves to have his number retired for what he did for us this year. Carlos Carrasco eats a boatload of garbage innings in May and then somehow gets traded for cash. We somehow sent out 2 of the most useless guys in the farms, anywhere in the franchise for money. So, I mean, we managed to move on from friggin' Everson Pereira in the Caballero trade. I mean, we got rid of so many names we're sick of hearing. We brought in some money. We brought in some speed. We brought in defense. We brought in a couple left-handed bats. I mean, we have like 6 guys who can close now. There is no, we're off the charts. It's A, and then I could just say plus until I run out the hour on this episode. I mean, it's an absolute win for the Yankees.
Facts. Subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, U-Goboy. And my friends at New York Posse, they're going to hook you up with some official gear. The Knicks are hotter than ever, and they're going to get you right with some official snapbacks, beanies, official gear, official like tissue, baby. Hit that promo code below, 2024. Get 20% off on all New York Posse gear. Hit the link below, and they're going to get you right. It's your boy, U-Goboy. Yahtzee. I know he blew the save in the opener against the Marlins, but I like the guy with the 99-mile-per-hour cutter from San Francisco. What's his name?
Doval.
Yeah, I signed me up for that. Again, like going into the trade deadline, we talked about this, we texted about this, talked about this outside of our cars, like for hours at end. Like, if it doesn't make Judge's job easier, I'm not interested. If it doesn't make Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, if it doesn't make their jobs easier, I'm not interested. And for the Yankees to get back to the World Series, Cashman had to do, both would have been great, both would have been awesome, but at best, at worst, whatever insert adjective, you got to do one of them. And the road to the back end with Williams and Weaver just got so much easier. So much easier. And they've been they've been overworked. This bullpen before the trade deadline was on fumes. And again, we're just a little bit past the All-Star break. Like these moves needed to happen because again, it's a domino effect. Once you lose your ace in spring training, and then you lose your number 2 or number 4 or 5 starter in Heel, you lose him before that, and then you lose Clark Schmidt before that. Already you're asking your bullpen to save you 5 out of the 7 games you play a week. Already you're asked to do that. So people wonder why the Yankees began to taper off and why the Blue Jays caught them. Mind you, the Blue Jays aren't world beaters. Nobody's saying that they're going to go and run away with the World Series. It's not going to happen. Come on, they're going to come back down to earth. They just got swept by the Orioles. Like, so what the hell are we talking about here? You know what I mean? The same Orioles that fired their GM and fired their manager like a month ago. Like pump the brakes. What I'll say here is the bullpen needed help. It needed help because you have a compromised rotation for the rest of the year. That's just what it is. It was already compromised before you lost Schmidt. Now you lost Schmidt, and you're gonna pray and hope Luis Gil can, our Lord and Savior, can give us anything of what he was before the oblique injury. And if he is at least, just being realistic, if he's 80 to 85% of what he was, you take that. You take that and you roll the dice because that has to be enough with a healthy Fried and a healthy Rodon. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. You know, King Cole's not coming back this year. Schmidt's not coming back this year. They're not. Your bullpen had to get better, and it got better. So Brian Cashman, you get your flowers. You absolutely get your flowers. Thank you you understood the assignment. We drag you through the coals on this show, Lord knows how many times, but you did good, kid.
Yeah,
good job, buddy.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the Blue Jays there, their big move was going out and getting Shane Bieber, who's not even going to pitch this year. And, I respect it. It's the, it's the old, some teams come to have a few shots, but they're opening a tab. That's one of my favorite quotes in sports. And the Blue Jays look like they're setting up for the long haul with Bieber, which I appreciate. I respect that. But in one of the most open years in, I don't even remember how long, that's beautiful. That plays right into the Yankees' hands that the Yankees geared up for this year, and the Blue Jays, we were playing checkers while they were playing chess is usually not a good thing. But in this case, it's awesome. And I mean, Bednar's around till next year, Bird's around till forever. I mean, it's McMahon's around for a while. It wasn't necessarily like these were all rentals. I mean, very few of them were rentals. So, it really played into the Yankees' strength as we take a look around the rest of the league here in a little bit. Nothing too worrisome. But I will say this for the naysayers out there on the Doval trade, because Doval lost his closer job last year. Bednar lost his closer job last year. But that's the beauty of this. Yeah. I mean, you signed now 5 closers. So first of all, at least one of them is not going to be in a high leverage situation. But second of all, even if because Doval was showing some weaknesses in June and July, it looked like he was possibly regressing. Okay, if he needs to be the 6th best reliever on this team, okay, I'm not mad about it. I'm fine with that. So, the mix of quantity and quality here, is really what makes that so smart. And a couple teams did that. We saw the Mets do it, right? The Mets said, basically, any closer will do and just started renting them out. I think that was the strategy a lot of the smart teams took this year. And I again, just all the more reason to say A++++ by the Yankees here.
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Again, you're asking guys like Doval and Bednar, and you're asking these guys to be upgrades from Hamilton, and to be upgrades from Tim Hill, and to be upgrades from De Los Santos, and to be upgrades from Al Leiter Jr. You're asking these guys who are former closers to be upgrades in the road to Devin Williams or Luke Weaver. You know what I mean? Either of them, I feel perfectly fine with either of them closing in the postseason. Both have shown that they can do it. Weaver showed that he could do it last year on the World Series level, up through the postseason. And I know he's been up and down, mainly because of usage. All right? Give me a guy who's elite when you need him 25% of the time, because once you start asking him to do things that his small frame is not equipped to do, yeah, he's going to give up. He's given up more home runs this year, and he hasn't looked as dominant because he's been overused. He's been using to the ground. And Devin Williams, he's begun to find himself, like he was a complete disaster at the beginning of the year, but he's looked better in recent weeks. You're just asking him to be who he was with the Brewers. You know what I mean? And I believe that guy is still there. I believe in the Airbender. All right. I believe in him a lot more than I believe in Mr. PhD in blown saves, Clay Holmes. All right. I don't care what he's doing with the Mets. They had him as a starter, as a reliever, as a bullpen game opener, whatever. Like, I trust the Airbender more than Holmes. I just do. And so I feel like with that being said, that again, the Cashman did good. He did. The Yankees don't win it all this year. It will mainly be because of the injuries, that it was just too much to overcome, or just a combination of they just didn't have the horses. They just didn't have the horses. They just didn't have enough to get across the finish line. But they've at least given themselves a chance, and that's all you can ask for.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I'm going to go total Yogi Berra-ism here, and I'm going to say if the Yankees don't win the World Series this year, it's because 11 of the 12 teams in the playoffs don't win the World Series this year. It is such an open year that the only way you could go home going, what did we just do, is if you didn't put yourself in the final 12. If you're not putting yourself in the dance when you could be there, you have made a terrible mistake. And that's why, some of these teams, especially, effectively the entire AL Central, not no one trying to say, let me try and get in there. And a couple of the teams in the NL, I think, I've been big on the Giants all year, but watching the Giants kind of swerve the other way, I think was incredibly dumb, because there's no one I'm afraid of this year. And, if you get ousted in 5 by the Tigers, okay, it happens. Someone's going to get hot and make a run. It happened, right? We've had the 6 seed beat somebody every year since we went to this format. It's bound to happen. But I would have been real angry if they just sat there and said, we're just going to let the regular season play itself out, because get in and you basically have a 1-12 shot this year pretty evenly.
Facts. Subscribe to the channel. We can go around, look at the different moves that took place. Carlos Correa, he gets moved. I think he sent back to the Astros, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The Cedric Mullins, like we discussed, he goes to the Mets. I also think they picked up another reliever as well. I think the A's closer, I think he got moved too, if I'm not mistaken. Mosley or Morris, whatever his guy's name is. A bunch of teams made moves. They made moves. This was a very, very active free agency. Which moves, I just listed a couple off the top of my head. Which ones caught your eye, Mongo, that you're just like, Raggy?
It's Mason Miller out in Oakland, to be totally honest. Yeah, because the Padres already, they gave up. So the big no-no, right, is you don't, at this point, it's almost a top 50 prospect you don't move. Nobody's moving top prospects. It's why we get so many, I forgot that guy was still in the league moment. Curtis Mead, who was a top 35 prospect like 5 years ago, got moved, and everyone went, that guy still plays baseball. You get a lot of those, but the Padres moved the number 3 prospect on MLB.com, who looks like an absolute stud, switch hitting 18-year-old shortstop for, to get a 4th closer, basically. I got John over at New Roads thinks they're going to actually make Mason Miller a starter in the offseason, which would be, incredibly unique and would make the trade make a little more sense. But it almost felt like the Padres looked around and said, we're the Padres. We need to be in on this. This is a historically quantity-wise, this is a pretty historic, deadline. We want to steal this. That's how, the GM does it out there. And it almost felt, greedy in a way. If you're the A's, meanwhile, you're thinking we want a face to come out of Sacramento with, right? Mason Miller in his 4th year as an elite closer does not scream come buy tickets in Vegas. A 21-year-old, by that point, Connor Griffin should have come up. He should be the number 1 prospect in baseball by that point. Come see the number 1 face of the future in Las Vegas. Okay, now we're selling tickets. So, I like what the A's were able to do there. I question what the Padres did there, but it's very on brand. So that is what stood out to me. And then the other thing that stood out to me is that nobody in the AL really wowed me. I like Merrill Kelly to the Rangers. I think Carlos Correa, we talked about it on the last show. The Astros needed an extra bat.
Yeah.
So going and getting one who they know is hyper reliable in October is smart. I question Suarez back in Seattle. I don't think it's a great fit. Detroit, I mean, the Mets add 2 closers. The Yankees add 2 closers. Everyone adds multiple closers. And the Tigers add Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals. I mean, that's a big move. And then, of course, the Red Sox add the ghost of Dustin May that I talked about earlier, who that might have been, I tell you what, the Red Sox, and listen, I think Red Sox fans have every right to be irrationally hyped about this season after the Devers trade goes as well as it does. But the hate for having nothing to do with Dustin May, just because he's the guy who is the face of this deadline, it is very comparable to Mysterio coming out 30th in the 2014 Rumble. I mean, it's that level of unnecessary hate for Dustin May. I feel bad for the dude. But again, you look around and go, the Yankees really won at least the AL side of things, because I think the Phillies had a great deadline. I think the Mets had a great deadline. But in the AL, it's the Yankees by a mile.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I mean, I think that, this is just so weird, man. Just how, like, as you mentioned, it's so wide open. It's so wide open. And you just knew that the premier positions that were of need of so many teams was bullpen and was defensive infield. It was. That was it.
Put it, but yeah.
Like, that's what it was. And you see the number of guys that get moved. And again, I think Correa would probably be the biggest, like, offensive. Correa and Suarez, in my opinion, those are the biggest names offensively that, wow factor, I guess. Because, again, Correa's done it at the highest level. Yeah, he's with the cheaters before. He's with the cheaters again, or the Astros, whatever you want to call him. But, I mean, he's still he's a household name. He's an all-star. He's done it on the World Series level. And with Suarez, all-star, multiple all-star. The guy's been jacking home runs in every ballpark he's gone into. So, I think that it's so wide open, and these moves dictated just what the trend is and what these GMs knew needed to happen. And again, it even draws back, and you got to give Cashman even more flowers. This is the most pro Cashman episode in the history of the U-Goboy podcast. You know what I mean? But he jumped on the McMahon wagon early, because trust me, I'm pretty sure there were a number of teams that were making calls to the Rockies about a guy that is a lefty bat who can occasionally get hot, and give you A++ defense at the hot corner. Like, who wouldn't want that in a playoff series? You need it. And, Peraza goes to the Angels. You know what I mean? Like you said, for international money. But a number of teams, got better. And somebody did a side-by-side graphic. I saw it on Twitter. If I find it, I think I liked it. I'll send it to you. Like, all 3 of the guys that were traded for Juan Soto have appeared in at least one.
I saw it today. Yes, I say it every time I'm on the show. Juan Soto is going to have I mean this very sincerely. I don't want to make light of mental health, but Juan Soto is going to get in his own head and break himself down, because every trade he has been a part of, the guy who gets sent over. I mean, in a world where so many prospects bust in baseball, how is everyone being moved for Juan Soto so good? It's such a statistical anomaly. It's incredible.
It's why, yes, he is an elite player. We mentioned it, when we had D Sizzle and we had Jason Enrique on the show a few episodes back. It's not that he's not a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to get his numbers or whatnot. My thing with Soto is, you are a great player. Why have you been traded so many times?
Correct.
What are these GMs? What are they seeing? Because guys like Judge don't get traded. Guys like Ohtani, they don't get traded. They might walk in free agency. It happened with Ohtani, and it almost happened with Judge, to the San Francisco Giants. They actually did make a really strong push to get him, but he stayed with the Pinstripes. Guys like that don't get moved. They don't get moved. They might leave in free agency, but they don't get traded. They don't. And as great as Devers is, I think Devers is going to be a Hall of Famer. I do. Devers is absolutely going to be a Hall of Famer. But the Red Sox couldn't wait to get rid of him. Ownership was just like, they met with him, I think, once or twice before the season and then during the season about switching positions. And he was just like, no. And then the owners was just like, you got to get this guy out of here. We gotta get this guy out of here. A guy that helped bring them a World Series. We gotta get this guy out of here. That says a lot, man. That says a lot. And numbers don't lie, man. They just don't.
And I think just to put that into a more, direct connection to this deadline, I mean, you look at Suarez going to Seattle, who are always very active, right? And you look at like Mike Soroka, those were two of the bigger names. By like July 10th, it was a foregone conclusion. Soroka was gone, Suarez was gone, a couple other guys. I'm just using them as examples here. But like the Cubs really, and I might be missing a minor move, but the Cubs really only made that one move. The Mariners really only made that one move. Why? Because even good players give teams pause. It took Seattle so long to finish that Suarez deal that they couldn't do anything else. And again, shout out to the Yankees for getting their major need at third base out of the way early so they had time to mess around. They had time to free shop. But Cubs, same thing. It took forever to figure out what to do, how to get Soroka. So if even halfway decent players, if even, all-stars are taking forever, how are so many teams willing to go, take Soto, that's fine, right? It's crazy when you look at how other players are treated in terms of their value.
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel.
Can I go one more? I got to give.
Go for it.
You asked what trade stood out. I got to say what non-trade stood out, and it's your boy. Because first of all, Minnesota sends out 10 players. So fire sales were happening. Baltimore fire sales, Minnesota fire sales. You said it. Everyone wanted a defensive infielder. How on earth could the Pirates not move the expiring contract that is IKF? How on earth are they still stuck with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at the end of this nonsense? Every team moved a utility infielder, and somehow IKF couldn't be moved. It's unbelievable. Pirates and Braves, two teams. I was screaming at the TV. Do something.
Mark my words, Paul Skeens and IKF will be Yankees together.
I buy that. He's the kind of guy who, like when JP Sears was accidentally in the Miller trade, right? He's the kind of guy, Skeens and IKF get moved by prospects, right?
Gotta take his contract. He's got to take his contract, and the Yankees are just like, there's no salary cap. Okay, luxury tax. Ooh, okay, we'll absorb that. We gave him.
When the Pirates sign IKF to another 1-year deal next year, you're going to hear me scream from wherever you are. I'm hoping we're nearby each other.
Oh God. I know is O'Neal Cruz, Paul Skeens. You come on down.
Come on over.
Come on over, baby. We're waiting for you.
I don't know if you saw this. I think the Bednar trade. I think it was since 1998. That's the 20th Yankee Pirate trade. I think it was one of the highest. I mean, we know who to go to.
Yeah. We know where our butter is breaded.
And then when I saw that they sent over 2 catchers, I was like, you could talk to Francisco Cervelli about that while you're over there.
Oh my God, Jameson Tyone, where are you? We love you.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but yeah. We're definitely gonna wrap here. Mongo, it's been real. New episodes are on the way. We'll be back in studio before you guys know it, or in a pinch, because I'm back on tour with the Wizards, and I'm also doing weddings now. Your boy's got a million things.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a million things these days. Shout out to Posh these days. But yeah, like you'll be getting new episodes. And a big shout out to the NFL. The Hall of Fame game happened. You know what I mean? It's Mongo's favorite activity. The only thing more important than Super Bowl, the Hall of Fame game. But football is back. More episodes are on the way. We're gonna sign off like that. That's a beard. That's Mongo. I got a beard. It's your boy, U-Goboy. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Come on back. We love you. Peace. Yahtzee. Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga, whoa. Woo, secure the bag, I need more. Hey, 3P, Jordan, whoa. Woo, I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe, I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme, with my niggas in Amsterdam.
You go, boy.
Yahtzee.